Hi, my name is Rojas, and I'm currently a strength and conditioning coach at UC Santa Barbara. For my YouTube assignment, I'm going to demonstrate a series of exercises that we think are unique to our program and the way we train our athletes. They promote upper body strength, core strength and stability, and hip and lower extremity mobility, strength, and stability. I hope you enjoy the video. The first two exercises I'm going to demonstrate promote core stability. The first one is called a modified crunch. You want to begin lying supine on the ground with your hands right behind your lumbar spine. You want to flex one knee while completely extending the other and keeping both feet on the ground. You want to raise your upper body about 45 degrees and maintain your scapula retracted and slightly depressed, keeping your chest out completely. So you want to raise, elbows back, chest out, scapula retracted and depressed, and hold this position for 10 seconds. You want to continue to breathe throughout the 10 seconds, and then lower your upper body for 5, resting. The biggest mistake you see in a lot of people is that when they raise their upper body, their shoulders protract forward, keeping that chest collapsed. You want to push your shoulders back, keeping that chest nice and tall, and keeping that head in line with the rest of the upper body, promoting good posture, allowing the core to stabilize, activating the spinal stabilizers, and eccentrically contracting the abdominal muscles. Up for 10 seconds, down for 5 completes 1 rep. The next exercise I'm going to demonstrate is called a cable rotational hold. It also promotes core stabilization and core strength. If you want to begin with the cable completely horizontal to the ground, you're going to grab the handle with both hands and pull it out so that you maintain slack between yourself and the cable. Your first movement, just like we do with any good squat, is in an athletic position, is you want to push your hips slightly back like you're sitting in a chair, slightly flexing your knees. You want to maintain your weight between your thighs with a good center of gravity. You're going to extend the elbows and hold this position for 10 seconds. You want to maintain that weight directly centered, not shifting your hips side to side, holding this position with elbows extended for 10 seconds, then flexing the elbows, resting for 5. That completes the first rep. You want to extend the elbows again for 10, contracting your core muscles, stabilizing that spine, and in for 5. And you want to work both sides. So once you do one side, you turn around and do the other. Out for 10, in a good seated athletic position, in for 5. These next series of exercises focus on upper body strength. The first one is called the face pull. You want to begin with the cable either right or slightly above your forehead. You're going to grab the rope in a neutral position, neutral grip, with the thumbs down. You want to pull the rope out so that you have some slack. Push the hips back with your feet in a staggered position. You want to begin with the elbows fully extended and your shoulders protracted. And then when we pull, we want to horizontally abduct the shoulders and externally rotate the hands. So, as I demonstrate, you want to pull, rotate, and then control the weight on the way in as the muscles eccentrically contract. One more time. You want to pull, rotate, control the weight on the way in. Pull, rotate, contract the core, stabilizing the weight as we finish the movement. So this next exercise is called a plate raise. You want to begin with a manageable weight. I'm going to grab a 15 kilo plate. Okay. You want to spread the feet about shoulder width apart and then drop the hips into a good athletic position, pushing the hips back, slightly flexing the knees. Okay. You want to grab the plate, place it right in front of you, contracting the core. Okay. And when we rotate, when we load, we want to load the opposite direction. Okay, by keeping the lower half nice and still, weight maintains in the middle, rotating at the belly button. Okay, the biggest mistake we see in a lot of individuals is when they rotate, that knee collapses, okay, and we lose all that torque gained by the core. So when we rotate, we want to maintain weight in the middle, Keep that lower half nice and locked, and then fire with the hips in the opposite direction, letting the weight pass the midline, driving up, fully extending both hips, and then back down. Again, we want to load, fire, fully extend, back down, and work in the opposite direction. Load, fire, extend the hips, and knee, and back down. The final exercise in this upper body strength series, and one of my favorites, is called the overhead prowler pull. We start with a prowler 2, which we've added weight to. We're going to grab our rope and loop it around the handles. Okay, this rope then extends down the floor to the other end of the room. We're going to walk and follow the rope all the way down. We're going to grab our rope and then lay in a supine position on the ground, with our knees flexed, both feet on the ground, anchoring our body. And just like the exercise is called, it's an overhead prowler pull, so all we're going to do is just pull the prowler, pull the rope overhead, pulling the prowler towards our body. We want to begin reaching down the length of the rope as far as we can, using both hands if we need to. To begin, the key to this exercise is to maintain tension in the rope, maintaining momentum in the sled as the prowler gets close to us. You want to continue to pull the prowler, extending the elbows, full range of motion. And once the prowler gets to us, the exercise is complete. This next exercise focuses on hip strength and stability. It's called the cable one arm, one leg row. You want to begin with the cable at a downward 45-degree angle. We want to hold the handle with the opposite hand from the foot that we're stabilizing our body weight with. So if I'm holding the cable with my left hand, my right foot is on the ground. When we reach out, we want to pronate the hand, rotate the thumb down as our hips completely extend backwards, extending the knee, extending the hips. So I'm going to reach, extend the hips at the same time, pronate, and then row back, fully extending the hips, flexing the knee up towards the chest. Again, you want to reach, balancing, keeping that chest nice and tall, and row. Reach, row. This next exercise focuses on pure hip mobility. It's called a wall heel slide. We're going to begin lying on the ground on our side with both hips flat against the wall. The knee is going to remain slightly flexed in a fixed position throughout the whole movement. We're going to begin with externally rotating our hips and our knee. And then as we slide and abduct the hips, we're going to try to maintain this knee as close to the wall as possible. So we're going to go nice and slow, slide that hip upwards, focusing movement from the hips, maintaining this knee fixed in a bent position all the way through, and then back down, nice and slow. And that's one. Again, externally rotate the hips and the knee, and then try to abduct strictly from the hips, trying to increase that range of motion at that hip joint. All the way up as far as we can, and then all the way back down. The biggest mistake we see among athletes and other individuals is that when they abduct from the hip, this knee becomes more and more flexed, when truly we want to keep it as extended as possible as we abduct from the hips.